afternoon. Today is my first video on this feed, and we will be discussing topics about intuition, perception, and health-related aspects. In my first video, I'll be discussing remote viewing and psychics. Now, there are a lot of individuals out there that are very gifted psychically, and then there are some of us who are dumbasses, for lack of better words, when it comes of being intuitive. Now, everyone has the ability to see things, but at what level is different. And this video in particular is for my friends or family who have intuitive children, or they themselves are very intuitive. I don't mean, oh, you can read someone's emotion. I mean pretty specific things. I'm going to share a story with you. In 2009, spring, I had gone to a metaphysical event. This event took place indoors, and I went with two of my college friends during the time. We went into the building, which was not that big. It had a bunch of venues everywhere from doctors with PhDs of all sorts to real psychics, fake psychics, massage therapists, rock collectors, pretty much anything and everything you could think of that was alternative and even cutting edge. And we went into the building, and I kind of wanted to impress them, so we got this aura pick done. An aura pick, basically they take a picture of you and there is an aura behind you. It cost $20. Personally, I don't think it was worth it, but I did it to impress my friends. So all three of us get it done. We're sat at a cold reader. The reader is not a psychic, but he's a cold reader, meaning he can read you based off of body language, which he does, and he's relatively good at it. Now you're thinking, where's the interesting part? It's coming. So I'm at this event. I'm dressed in normal clothing like a civilian. I'm not a psychic, like listed as a psychic. I'm just there as a student, really, entertaining my friends. And the guy's done reading me, so I stand over on the wall, okay? They're still getting their reading done. While I'm standing on the wall, I have two military personnel approach me. One was female, one was male. The female was about my height, 5'4". She had brown eyes, dark auburn brown hair that was pulled back in a ponytail very neatly, and olivey skin complexion. She didn't do any talking, and she was on this side of me. Now the male was directly in front of me. He was also in his 40s, except he was Caucasian, tan, blue eyes, and dirty blonde hair that was short. Yeah, dirty blonde hair that was short. And he was near 6 feet, somewhere near there. She was like staring into my head, and he did all the talking. Now they came up to me out of nowhere, and this is not typical because they were dressed in full military uniform for the time of day and everything that it was. And they came up to me. They didn't ask my name. They didn't ask, hey, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. They just came directly up to me, used a tactic where they were 6 inches away from my face. And the guy started questioning me right off the bat. How long was I able to read people? How do I read people? What do I see? So he was asking me a list of all these crazy questions. I was like, and I was answering, because I was taken off guard. Until he asked me a question, do you manipulate people? And I thought to myself, why the fuck is this guy asking me all these questions? So then I asked him back the same question. I said, well, do you manipulate people? And he says to me, without hesitating, with a smirk, he's like, yeah, I do it all the time to my commanding troops, and I make them do this and that. And I'm feeling disgusted, like, really? This guy just thinks he can move around people like pins. And of course, when I question him, he basically backs off and says, okay, well, have a nice day. We're going to get the aura pick done. So the woman and the man, who are dressed in full military uniform, like I would say Army or Air Force, they leave and go wait in the line. Well, I'm watching them waiting in the line for like a minute. And then after a minute, they don't even get to do the picture. They walk out of the line, out of the building, and I never see them again. Now, believe it or not, my story is one of many, I believe. And I knew that the government had remote viewing projects in the past, like the Stargate program. I've spoken to Paul Smith. I've spoken to Michael Persinger on the phone, who's up in Canada still doing cognitive neuro classes, I believe, for college. And a lot of people will tell you the last program was in 1995. I personally do not believe that. While our government in many areas is losing contracting resources and things like that, I still believe that private entities are hosting people with psychic abilities. I say this because even though I knew these programs existed, that day in 2009 when I was personally approached by these people, I thought, how in the fuck did these people find me? I don't advertise myself in general. This was years ago. You know, I'm not like hey, I'm a clairvoyant reader, call my telephone number. You know, I was a person in college, a nobody, and obviously to them I was a somebody, and they questioned me. So this won't happen to most people unless you are pretty intuitive, and at that point, if you are, you should be able to make the right decision, knowing that working for the government in these positions is not okay. I say that because what are you doing to benefit the better of society? What, national security? What are they going to tell you? Honestly, it's going to be one of those programs where they're going to take you away from the rest of society. Not that you'll be locked in a basement by any means. You'll probably be getting a good salary, but will you be happy with yourselves? And the answer is probably not. You'll be feeding your ego, but you won't be using your intuitive gifts to help yourself and help other people spiritually, mentally, and physically evolve. And I think because very psychic people are extremely sensitive to what they eat, who they hang out with, because of what they're feeling and what they're seeing. And it's not always a bad thing. It just means that you have to take time and know that, you know, you can't eat junk. Like, you can't have all this junk food and all this shit and all these negative people in your life, because that's going to have a negative effect on your body. So these are for all my psychic friends and people who have children and don't know how to deal with them. The lesson is, one, don't work for the government, because these people want people that can be manipulated and are not going to question. So if your child or yourself question a lot, well, you don't have too much to worry about. Keep on using the modified Socratic method. And also, the people that aren't intuitive, don't feel left out. You know, you are who you are for a reason. Everyone sees things differently. The only real truth is, are you advancing yourself and those around you? Are you happy with your life? And even though I may not be exactly where I want to be, I'm heading in that direction. And I know that one day I'll be better able to help others because I have took the time to help myself. So, what I want to say out there is two things. One, remote viewing things exist. But more importantly, above that, it doesn't matter how intuitive you are. If you put yourself around negative people, if you devalue yourself, your gifts will never come to full fruition. And that goes for anybody. So take that into consideration and have a nice day. Thank you.